I am weak. He is strength. In him, I am strong. I am imperfect. He is perfect. In him, I am perfected. I am unfinished. He is finality. In him, I am completed. Good morning, afternoon, and or evening, ladies, gents, and all those in between and beyond that binary of the internet. Welcome back to Neon Lights Roleplay, and more specifically, welcome back to By a Shadow Peace, our Wrath and Glory epic, where a couple of people are going through a really rough time. I'm your host for the duration of stream. I go by Foxy and UT they pronouns, and I have a couple of people around me, some devoted souls, some dedicated scholars, some, let's say, inquisitive individuals, acolytes of his most holy ordos. I can tell you all about who they are, but I'll let them do that themselves. So when you know that I call you all players, please tell me who you are, who you're playing tonight, and what predicament the story last found you in. Let's start with the birthday lad himself, the internet sensation, the one and only, the incredible and incomparable Turk. Scented.
Hey everybody, I am Turk, or Turk Accented, if you know that the more bigots we kick out of this hobby, the better. And I'm, of course, playing Zadkiel Delos, Lamenter, Space Marine, Cursed Founding, generally a pretty unlucky person, totally here by choice and not trying to make up for anything. That all being said, current predicament that he is in is that he is entirely too close to a fellow, well, I guess not fellow anymore, but a comparable warrior from a similar origin. Some might say from similar, his brother from another brother. That makes sense only if you know 40K.
That was good. That was good.
But,
I'll write that down somewhere.
But yeah, hopefully
Indeed.
a little chainsword diplomacy can sort that out.
Well, as Zadkiel found himself squared off against the encroaching threat that is headsman Thok of the Sons of Truth, so he declared himself, we next slide our introductions over to the incredible and incomparable Neolites, the one and only. I made sure of it. I signed a contract. Michelle.
Hello, it's me, Michelle. And today I'm playing Aria Yun Contour, our sister hospitality, sister of battle, who may or may not have just had a hole shot through her chest. Okay, there's no may or may not.
Nah.
She just got shot in the chest. Sorry. It's fine.
Hey.
Everything's fine.
Hey, to be fair, the last guy who got shot from off screen in this campaign lost a head. So, like, losing an organ or two,
I mean,
I'd say, like,
it could be worse. It could be worse. I mean,
solid trade.
It's the same kind of round, so.
Exactly. Or was it? Anyway, indeed, as at the end of an ambush where Varys and Arya found themselves holding the line while Zadkiel and Lara sped themselves off towards the spaceport, Arya found themselves taking a heavy impact round from a bolt sniper rifle, fire from a certain someone who may have just been responsible for taking off a certain politician's head. Maybe. I don't know. We'll get there. But before we get there, let's probably introduce one other person to our party. Briefly pausing to offer some love and consideration to our lovely Landa Dan, who is not here with us tonight, but we give so many appreciation to. Take care of yourself, buddy. Passing it over to one last member of our party. Let's say the least like the others, but certainly becoming a bit of a found family vibe, if you want to call it so egregiously in this horror dark environment we live in. I'm of course talking about the internet's one and only, the incredible and incomparable, the sensation that is Meg Mysteria.
Hello everybody, I am Meg and/or Meg Mysteria, and I play Lara Talone, also known as by her true name, Elovara Telne, who, well, you know, her situationship died in front of her, so that's how things went last session.
That did kind of happen.
That did happen. That did in fact happen, but it's okay because his soul is in a very pretty rock, and she gets to hold on to that now.
Very pretty and very important rock that makes sure that his soul doesn't get eaten by a horrible warp god for the rest of eternity. So you know.
Yeah.
Don't break it.
No. It's going to be very well taken care of.
I hope so.
Me too,
Well,
but Foxy is threatening me, so.
I have not threatened anyone. I keep getting told that I'm threatening people tonight, and I'm just recalling information about their predicament. Frankly, I'm not really sure why anybody would. Any case, aside from that, indeed, we find Lara Edilvara, as it were, who is slowly growing themselves closer towards the group. Suddenly struck with one last tragedy as their, let's say, one-time flame. Corsair Philarch Valir, who at once she came to blows with alongside the party, but made a promise to reconcile with after he offered some assistance to help Aria with her demon problem. We'll get back to that in just a moment. Was found on the ground bleeding from the sword of one headsman Thok. So it's personal on both ends. That said, friends, like I already said, I'm Foxy, and I'm not going to waste any more time yapping or monologuing. And we'll just get right back into the nonsense, huh? So, let us start with, of course, the. Let's start with the action, friends. We find ourselves settling back into the industrial grind that is the spaceport. Limited machinery is still moving and functional around you all, but all of that is but muted nonsense against the slowly looming threat in front of you. Lara, you clasp the soul stone of Valir. At this point, his body, his flesh is dissolved entirely, leaving only the soul stone and the armor that once contained said body. But you are still left in the moment. Facing in front of you, a large open cargo container, which you can see in front of it has a strange plinth-like object in front of it. It seems mostly carved of a soft wraith bone, a material you're familiar with, and some other metals and materials you aren't familiar with at all. But held in the middle of it, clutched on a small dais of some kind, is a diamond-like crystal, shaped and made of a complete dark onyx black. Outside of that, Zad, you are facing yourself off, your chainsword drawn and already eating the air as its microfiber teeth cut like a dragon's fangs. And aside from you, a figure of blue teal armor, face almost melting into the shadows all around him, who drives a wicked curved sword with a power field around its side, cutting a wicked gash into the ground before pointing it back at you once again. Come then, Thin Blood. Let us see if you are worth killing.
I'll just wordlessly restart that chain sword after their last brief encounter. Focusing his mind and preparing because he already got a little bit beat the fuck out of.
Yes, actually worth reminding. Zad, how many wounds are you currently at for your maximum?
I haven't taken any wounds. I did get pretty beat the fuck out of, as far as I recall. I don't.
Yes, you were a bit outclassed. You did have your bolter cut in half. So
Yeah.
that might be an issue at some point, possibly. So, as you prepare your bolter and you are ready to go, I'm going to keep this very, very simple and say that I'm going to have you act and then have Thok act, and then we'll cut over to Lara and see if Lara wants to contribute to the fight somehow or jump in this, and then we'll kind of play that back and forth for a bit, feel about a round or so, and then we'll check in on our server with house friend. How's that sound? Yeah?
Sounds good to me.
Not waste any more time then. Industrial ambience all around you, a thick, heavy mist in the air, as if the air around you wants to suffocate you, and an opponent with your blood on his mind directly in front of you. What do you do?
I think the only thing that is available to him, he puts himself, make sure he's directly between Laura and Thok, and then closes the distance, attempting to thrust in two-handedly at right towards this opponent's chest, hoping that he can make some kind of off-guard catch. So
Let's go ahead and make your attack roll, please.
Pool of 12 dice, and I can reroll 2 of these, so I'll reroll 2 of the ones.
Go ahead.
So that's going to make one of them a 6, which is going to be awesome. So total marks, I have, we're looking at 4 5s or 6s. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with an additional one that I can maybe use for, say, some shifting or something, or some extra damage dice.
You can shift one of those exalted icons and still have a pass on his defense.
That's
so,
what
absolutely.
I figured. Yeah. So with my rerolls, I got the extra 6. I'd love to throw that into some extra damage, if
all right then.
possible.
Go ahead and roll your damage as you bring your chainsword in, thrusting the microfiber, eating the air as the engine roars like an angry beast. Please go ahead and make your roll for damage.
Okay. So, let's see. I rolled 4. Am I doing this right? I'm always worried about this.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's.
I think you're doing it right. So you have your basic damage modifier, which I believe is about 13.
Yes. My DR is 14.
Okay.
13 in this case.
Okay. And then you rolled extra dice and got now with brutal, that's going to be a grand total of both of those. The 4 and 5 will count for 1. That's going to be 2 extra damage die, or extra damage.
Actually, my brutal is something different. I'll pop into chat. I'm pretty sure I pulled this from the book, but this is just chainsword stuff.
Yes. No, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So because you rolled the damage die, yeah. So you have on your damage die, you have a 1. Oh, sorry, you have 5 there. Yeah, so you have 5 there.
I have a 5.
3 extra damage.
Yeah, so it's 3 extra damage, and
For 16 total.
And I have Angel of Death, so I had plus rank to the total damage value for any Astartes, Adeptus Astartes keyword weapons. So we're ranked 2, so an extra 2 onto that.
All right, so for a total of 18 damage.
Yeah.
All right. That's gonna hurt him pretty good. Yeah, no, that's fine. I won't finish it yet. He'll take the damage. So yeah, the chainsword will thrust forward, and you'll see yourself as he kind of parries and managed to like catch the hilt of your sword and push in. The chainsword still pushes across and eats into the armor around his chest, tearing through it some. He just kind of pushes forward and kind of like smacks his shoulder into yours. You can hear his breath coming through his box grill. He sounds excited.
You so wish for blood you would do all this? What monster has the warp made of you?
He'll push him closer and just... The warp didn't make me this. Your corpse emperor did. And is going to bring his foot up, kick you in the chest to push you back some, and then swing with an overhand attack as you're going to try to swing at you now.
Okay, defense
let's
5, because I got the parry. Ew, no! That's a lot of dice.
It's a lot of dice.
I'm just a little guy.
You are a little guy.
Little guy.
As the counter will come down and swing on you, here comes the damage roll. Thankfully, he only rolled 1 extra icon, so it's only going to deal 14 damage total.
Okay. So
it is, however, AP -3. So whatever your resilience is, it's 3 lower.
Gotcha. So it's going. So my AP with minus that is going to be a total of 8. So that was how much damage?
14.
14 total minus 8. In that's 6. Oh boy. Okay.
6.
So that's half my wounds.
So now keep in mind, as a reminder, you can roll shock to you can roll determination to convert somebody's wounds into shock.
That's true, and I think that might be something I'd like to do, but
Please go ahead and do that.
Oh, there's my determination one. I had to find another sheet. Looks like I've got 1 icon there.
Only 1 icon. You will convert one of those into shock. So you'll take 1 shock and 5 wounds.
Okay. Well, you know,
the sword comes down, and I imagine what happens here is like the sword comes down, you bring your sword up and catch it. Lara, I imagine hearing is still a thing you have more sensitivity to as an Eldar. You can hear this air-aching whine as the teeth of that chainsword rip against the power field of the power sword, and literally, for a brief moment, every time these swords clash, the brightest light in the entirety of this room is their sword, the point where their swords meet. And as Zad grinds back some, you see Zadkiel take like a half step back, and Sock, almost like he knows how Standard Astartes combat patterns, steps directly in, pivots his sword, and mashes the butt against Zadkiel's head as hard as he can. You can hear a crack. Something definitely gave in Zadkiel's forehead at that moment. He steps back, spins the blade, tilts his head again, and I'm barely trying.
By the end of this, I will have your head. Traitor.
He rolls his hand against, which you can now see in the light is a sort of like belt attachment around his lower waist. Dangling from it, you can see at least 3 or 4 skulls. Two of them look human. One looks curved, like you wedge maybe a towel, perhaps? The last one is an authority's helmet. A blue one. Or I'll take yours.
You seek to put fear in me. You will find it a terrible prospect.
And as he'll step back, the camera will kind of shift around and finds the two begin to meet and clash blades again. And on the third clash, third clash of blades, the camera cuts away. Lara, you have resolved yourself, figured it's time to get back in the fight. You're watching this duel go back and forth between two titans of metal and flesh. What do you do? It's a banger. I forgot about this one.
It is fucking awesome.
So. As much as she recognizes that she probably does not want to get close in this match between two titans and their reach of their swords, she knows she has to get close for what she wants to do, so she moves forward. And in doing so, the facade of a human drops from her skin. As she quickly steps forward, and those strides end up a bit longer as taller. Her hair, the orange locks of her hair, brash and straight, long and straight, falling over ears that become much longer, features sharp. The veil around her mouth just kind of. And she moves forward, and Dagkill may or may not just feel a hand at his back, and yeah, I guess she's use regeneration.
All right. As you begin to try and eke the warp into yourself, make a psychic mastery roll. Make one for your power, and then make a second one afterwards. Don't worry about why.
Don't worry about why. I'm using Unbound.
All right. You pull closer into the warp. For those who are at home and have not played Wrath and Glory, whenever you cast a power, you must pick one of 3 power levels. Each one can give you. So there's the basic bound power you cast, just fully within your own control, give you no bonuses or penalties. Then there's unbound and then transcendent powers, which can be used, and each of them is something a bit more potent and powerful. It provides more wrath die, so more good things can happen or more bad things. But once you step up a level, once you cast an unbound or transcendent power, you can no longer step back down. So Lara, by choosing to cast an unbound power here, every power you cast for the rest of this scene must be either unbound or transcendent. You can go up, you cannot go back.
So the first roll was 6 icons with a 6 on the wrath die.
6 icons, 6 on the wrath die is noted. That's more than enough to pass the difficulty number modifier for generation, which is, actually it's not. No, sorry, it's gonna write that counts for 2 more. Yeah, so you're good. So you're good. 6 icons, 6 on the wrath die is 7 total. So wait, is the 6 icons separate from this? Okay, separate from the wrath die?
I'm sorry?
Is it 6 icons and then the wrath die, or is it 6 icons including the wrath die?
Separate.
Okay, so then so you're fine.
7 total.
Okay, so then if it's 6 total plus the wrath die, so that would be 8 total, because the wrath die would count for 2 with 6.
Yeah.
So that gives you 8, which is meets it. So you get regeneration. So, Turk, you will heal 1 wound per round. If you're completely healed, you'll heal 1 shock instead.
Hell
As
yeah.
long as Meg is sustaining that power.
Does this proc now, so I gain 1 wound now, or is it at the end of my next turn?
It's gonna be so it's just once per round. So we're gonna say it's at the top of the round. So top of the round pops back over. Lara slides into the fight. You literally have to sort of like lean under one of Stock's kind of cross slashes as he comes around you. But you're able, as a more agile person than a standard human, to weave around and place a hand at some part of Zakiel's exposed back of the head and neck, and infuse him. Zakiel, you feel like energy kind of course briefly through all of your veins, and slowly feel the flesh on your forehead almost begin to reknit itself. It is profoundly uncomfortable, but it happens.
I mean, there's so much in me that's really designed to stitch itself back together or feel no pain.
Not untrue.
I can go through all of the things. I wrote them all down.
It's true. Well, resolve back in your fight. Make it happen, boss. What are we doing?
All right. So I just kind of got like knocked back. I imagine I'm down on 1 knee right now, allowing for Lara to get a hand up and touch.
Actually, reach your neck.
I know. I mean, hey, you do what you can for the height differentials. So. I'm tempted because he has so much AP. I think what I'm going to do, and I just want to confirm, because the all-out attack option, or the full attack that I would normally get from seeing like not my own blood, but it'd be frenzied. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Because I'm going to have to do some quick things. But I think at this point I am going to just all-out attack. Because he's probably hitting me anyway. I don't see a situation where the superior swordsman here doesn't get a chance on me. So I think I am just going to try and just go for it.
All right.
I just want to make sure. Okay, so +2 bonus die to your melee attack dice pool, but -2 to your defense till starting next turn. But again, -3 AP with 8 dice. Oh, it was like 8 bonus die being rolled.
It's a bunch.
It's a bunch of.
He has a lot of dice.
It's 15d6 coming at me. I am positively.
He's real good at attacking with his sword.
Exactly. So we'll take the attack here. I think he's going to kind of feel that, and then. Instead of going for traditional fighting form, just kind of lead with the elbow towards the gut and try to expand upon that brief moment of creating space to bring the sword in and kind of just not think, sort of just turn the body and arms in as clear and clean of a motion as you can.
It's purely on instinct. Make your attack roll.
Okay, so there's a wrath die in there of a 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to reroll 2 of these, so I'll reroll. It's also.
You passed.
All right. Well, I could maybe get extra damage.
You want a crit fish?
I am never above crit fishing. First off, it's my 2 bonuses, so my 2 rerolls. Okay, so it's a 5, so that's just an extra mark because I turned one of those a 2 and a 3 into an additional 5. But because I'm going all out, there's an additional. There's additional 2 to my attack die, so let's see if we can get any extra icons here. There you go. So we'll throw on an extra.
You can shift another.
I need all the damage.
Icons if you want.
What's up? Oh, I can shift to second icon. I only got 1 wrath icon, I think, because I only rolled 1 6.
Well, your wrath die was an icon.
My wrath was okay. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's go for it then. We'll shift 2 of those over, and here comes the damage. So that's going to be a 6 and a 4 with brutal. The 2, 3, and then I get the 2 extra from my shifts. Right? It's 2 extra d6.
Yep.
All right. Let me get those 2 in for you. See if we can get anything extra. Oh, that's tragic. But,
hate that.
It's okay. So, 4 extra plus 2 more for 6 extra. On top of my
Plus your base
13. So 19
or
total.
19.
Yeah.
19 minus 12 or not 12. Sorry, that's the old number. My bad.
Whew!
Oh no, it's higher.
Oh, good.
But you do deal some damage, so no question. As you finally, with the crosscut, as you bring your elbow up, he brings his arm down from his sword and catches the elbow. But you swing the sword and kind of come up. But this time you grate up against the side, like the plating of his face. You just tear a lot of paint and wiring loose and smash his head to the side, making him step back. Good. Getting creative.
I have been to the place you call home, creature. I have seen what terrors you can wrought. There is nothing for you here but death.
Well then, let's teach a broken dog new tricks. And I am going to spend his personal ruin for his. I'm going to spend his personal ruin for his action. I have no equals. So he's going to attack you. He's going to get a couple more bonus die for his attack, which is not going to matter. Don't worry too much.
I was already accepted.
What's your defense rating?
My defense rating at the moment is 3. Because I did an all-out attack, so it's minus. I took a -2 in my defense.
So it's actually 6 because he's going to do something a bit different here. But he's going to get extra die on the attack because of what he's doing. It's still high, more than enough. So he's only going to deal damage still normally. Don't worry. Let me first roll that real quick. Rolling a grand total of 4 extra damage on top of the base 13 for 17 total.
17,
minus your 17 total minus your 3. Go ahead and make your shock roll if you'd like, and then I'll grab everything real quick. Yes.
Okay, so I got 3 icons there, so I can take. So it was 17 total.
Yeah, 17 down to 14 minus 8.
17 down to 14 minus 8. So basically,
so 6 wounds.
Yeah, it evens out, and 3 of those can go into shock, which I will absolutely take. But I still am down 3. But with my +1, I did mark up one of my turn from regeneration, so I'm sitting at 4.
So, I wouldn't panic yet. So as he says, watch closely. He comes in at you, and you bring your sword up, ready to defend. You swear you're watching him left, right, center, almost like your brain, like a supercomputer. You're trying to process where he'll go next, and then finally you see it left. You bring your sword left, and then you recognize your prediction, the common the ghost image of him you see, thinking he's going to move left and strike left, isn't there anymore. He feints you out entirely and strikes in a backhand circle around, cutting at your gauntlet. Your vambrace shears, and you drop your chainsword, which he kicks across the room. You can panic now, by the way.
Yeah, no, that was my thing. That was I needed that, and you ruined two of my things here.
He kicks you out of there. He spins in just fancy toy. I might need a new one when I'm done with you. This one's tainted with Xenos blood.
I think at that moment, any retort that Zadkiel has kind of dies without the confidence of having an equal leveled weapon. So he'll just draw out a combat knife from his side and get into as best a defensive stance as possible, knowing now he's more than ever on the back foot.
Well, as you step back, drawing your combat knife, I assume, and sort of getting that ready, your chainsword isn't far from you. At a solid sprint, like if you took off running, he definitely would get a swing at you. But if you can avoid that swing, taking your head off, you can probably make it to your sword and get up a guard in time. It's gonna open you up to at least one attack by going for it, obviously. But you could probably make a run for it. But it's not gone. You can get to it, no question. Nor is he holding. But as you sort of the camera will follow the chainsword getting across the room, and about I'm going to say maybe. This doesn't matter. It's closer to Lara than it is to you, Zad. The camera will cut over to Lara, who is like, as you kind of step back from the melee as the fight keeps going on. Thok eyes you, but doesn't sort of focus on you. He's focusing on having a good time in his fight right now. The fight goes on. Zachiel is clearly on the back foot. What do you want to do?
So I am going to experience the agents.
All right. Why don't you tell me what this looks like as you start manifesting this incredible power that you've not stepped up on used before? This is a notable step up from the powers you've used previously.
So this is much more useful than some of the other powers, and it looks like just actual gathering energy, and I imagine it's like a blue, not necessarily a flame, but more of like a wispy smoke that kind of gathers around the chest arm. Hands. Let me check something.
Yeah, sorry, you were kind of.
Let me check my gain.
I mean, you're coming in really great now. Wasn't sure what was eating it before, but it was like as you're talking.
I feel like when you lean back some, that's kind of was doing it.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
You're good.
Kind of like
Perfect out.
not necessarily, almost like a wispy smoke that kind of curls around the figure, and a light from the eyes, and it gathers in front of her, kind of swirling into a ball in the hands, and then once it's gathered, casts forward.
Right. Well, before we hear the results of this, let's ask you a question real quick. Because for those who aren't aware,
Yes.
there's another rules clarification here.
Hello.
Powers require you to roll a certain number of icons over a difficulty number in order to pass it, obviously. So, of Meg's Dice Pool, they need to pass a certain number of icons in order to pass it. Normally, for powers, it's about 5 or 6. The generation power that you last round had 8. Fury of the Ancients is difficulty number 10. So Meg needs to roll 10 4s or higher across multiple dice. So the question then I ask you is, at what power level are you casting this?
I am. Well, fuck. I am gonna have to do Transcended, because I need that extra wrath die.
Funnily enough,
I'm
it
gonna
just
fuck
takes
around
like
and find out.
Well, hold on. Before you find out, normally Transcended gives you 2 bonus wrath die as opposed to the 1 you get from Unbound. I'd like you to take 3.
Woohoo!
And the reason for that is because of that previous roll you made. As you reach out and gather at the warp, it is swelling. You can feel the Imperium building and gathering and, breaching all the air around you. It is not at a fever pitch. This is not an oncoming incursion or anything like that. But you can absolutely feel that something, somewhere, is rankling the warp all around you in a local vicinity. And whatever it is hungry. That said, make your roll.
I'm rolling with 5 wrath die.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, if any of these wrath die roll a 1, we have Perils of the Warp happened.
We're gonna fuck around and find out. So there is a 1. So we're finding out.
Joyous.
So, but there are 2 6s on the wrath die. So
Noted.
let's count.
So,
let's
1.
count our numbers.
Indeed. Let's go count numbers. What do we got?
So because I'm doing the sustained power, there is a -2.
To your difficulty number. So it's difficulty 12 for you in total.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oof. Just shy. So,
That's
could you also, for me, do you want to roll D100
So-
or should I?
so. It was 10 after I removed one of my dies. So including one of the die that I removed, it is 12.
Okay. Oh, there you go. So then you're good. You should take a number of stress. I'm pretty sure it equals the number of wrath die. So you're gonna take 5 shock.
Yay!
Not the
Ouch.
And
worst.
secondly, could you roll a D100 for me?
I will fully roll
Take your time. What you got?
80.
Mm.
Take a look at
Brave chill. Oh, so 80 exactly?
80 exactly.
0 on the dot.
Oh, sorry. I screwed this up. I screwed this up. My fault. I think I did this wrong. This is my bad. You should roll. Sorry, roll D66. So roll 2D6 for me. My bad. Not D100.
That makes me really worried because you know that dice
My
needs to
bad.
keep going up.
Do you want the yellow or black to be higher?
Give me 1 second. 1 sec. Oh, okay. Let's go with the black being higher. Why not?
Oh, it's a 21.
Mm-hmm. And you only rolled 1, yes?
Yes.
So that goes to a 31. Sinister chorus. Sinister chorus of low laughter swirls around you and those in the vicinity. All sentient creatures within 25 meters must make a successful DN3 willpower test, or they are hindered for 1 round. The GM gains 1 ruin. So if everyone could please, well, not everyone, you two specifically, could roll me a willpower test real quick. Meg, you still have a difficulty number +2 with that because of your sustained power.
Yeah.
2.
Hindered. I will tell you what that does in just a moment.
Ooh, ouch.
Would I gain
And Meg?
+1 to this roll due to any of my implants? Don't bonus die, rather.
Not on this one. It's a psychic phenomena,
I was
friendo.
gonna say, yeah, probably not, but hey, worth asking.
4.
Only 1 to hindered, so it's only 1 to.
What's a 4? You succeed. So, Turk, you will take an extra difficulty on the difficulty on all tests is increased by 1.
I'm sorry.
And I think this is actually perfect. So, you draw on the warp, Lara. When you draw on, something Empyrean latches at you with a psychic mind claw. Could you roll for me a corruption test real quick?
That's conviction, right?
There's a button on your sheet that should say resist corruption. But yeah, it could be conviction is the thing you're rolling. Yes.
Four.
4. I think 4 is enough for this. With 4, just barely, you were able to regather your focus. The power you're trying to pass, the Imperial Agents breaks, and you are able to lash out with that energy at Sock, who does look at you with the curious eye of like, oh, you were about to do something fun, weren't you? But just, keeps fighting with that obviously. But you recognize you're an incredibly potent psyker. Even rankling in the warp, eddying and flowing in the Imperium, still being able to disrupt your connection that strongly, let alone let something of the Neverborn lash at you so easily. Something is wrong. Something somewhere is very, very wrong. And you think you might have an idea about with who. Aria. The shot hits you like a concussive bang. You've been shot before. A life on the battlefield will always cause dissonance and encounters with pain. So you're no stranger to injury. You close your eyes, a perfectly human instinct, the kind of thing you can't avoid no matter how much your training puts through you. You flinch, briefly, temporarily close your eyes. But you don't feel that raucous pain, that fire crawl, eat through all of your muscles like gunfire going through your body does normally. You feel cold, quiet. You open your eyes. You open your eyes. You Open your eyes. Why is everything still black? All around you. Why can't you see anything? Hear anything? Feel anything? What does it feel like? Have a moment completely in the quiet, separate from a lifetime full of raucous zealotry, of endless devotion and constant warfare. Where are you in this moment?
I think for Arya, having grown up in the sisterhood, there's always some kind of noise. Someone singing. Someone talking. Even the quiet void of space, there's always the hum of machinery. This total silence is deafening.
Something lances through you, angry and quickly. It's pain, yes, but something more. Every nerve fires in your body in absolute agony, the black around you becoming a flash of pain red for a microsecond, and then black again, and then quiet again. Anything more you wish to do as you sit in the silence after a brief flash of complete agony?
It's dark. I can see nothing, but I think it is in our darkest moments that we are tested.
Another pain flash. Just as you think that. Again, lightning quick, but every muscle in your body feels it, like fire. Try to gather yourself for a third time, again, and again,
Pain is off.
like a
Pain's away.
heartbeat, over and over and over and over and over. And suddenly, everything around you is red. Bloody, angry red. And all you can feel is pain. A thrumming like a heartbeat, increasing in sensation as it slams against the back of your skull, pressing bloodily, filling your head with far too much.
I feel pain, that means I'm alive. If I'm alive, then I can fight.
Corruption test for me.
A new one?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. We shall roll it. And I got another 1, 2, 3, 4 icons.
Ooh. 4 isn't enough. Michelle gained 4 corruption.
Alright.
And as you steel yourself, the red persists. And suddenly you feel ground beneath your feet. It is chalky and dusty. Every crunch of your armored boots scatters ash in the wind. The ground off pale and covered over in shades of tan and rust red. And there are shades, figures, Things twisting in the distance, writhing and moving at the edges of your vision. They taunt you. They cackle at you. They watch you. They cause this pain. They are the agony beating at the back of you. Kill them and be rid of it.
Alright, so I just reached Tarnished.
Mm-hmm.
So, just asking, what am I rolling for? I'm assuming I have to take a mutation now.
Not yet.
Not
Don't
yet?
worry. We'll get there.
Okay. The
For
the
now,
guy right by
just...
my feet.
Mm-hmm.
He's not dead yet, is he?
You don't see any of the people you were murdering. You don't see any humans around you. You are the only human you can see all around you. It's just the shades. Just the pain causing. Just them. And the agony they will never let you be free from. Unless you slaughter all of them. What do you do?
What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
If to live is to suffer, if respite can only be found in the words of the Emperor, then Arya throws back her head and bursts into a hymn as she dedicates the first kill to the Emperor.
You lift your head back. You scream. You dedicate your first kill. And before you swing your naginata, you notice nothing leaves your throat. Not a single sound. You still swing. But one of those shades in Twain. It wisps into dust and disappears. 5 more take its place. They are all around you. Incessant. Unstopping. Unless you kill them all.
The only answer, though.
Oh no. Roll corruption to find out. Reminder, you're now tarnished, so I'm pretty sure you count any the difficulty number as 1 higher.
Well, this is a problem because I only have 5 to my my resist corruption.
Yeah. Yeah, so you better hope you roll some 6s, darling, and a good chunk of them.
Alright. That is 4, 6, 2, 5. Can I spend a wrath to re-roll the failed dice?
Yes, you can, if you'd like to.
Alright. Go ahead and re-roll 2d6s, I guess. That's another 6.
So that's what, 6 total?
I believe so.
Hmm. Would have been good if you didn't have that +1 difficulty from being tarnished. You say, what if there's another way? Shade swipes at you. You think, step away. Don't fight. Step away. You step back. You are already cutting it in half with your naginata, as if on instinct. You look, and you've already swiped and turned that specter around you to dust. 5 more take its place. They swarm. They gather. At your feet, you can see several gripping and pulling up at you. What do you do?
This isn't a psychic power, this is just that goddamn demon, huh?
A little bit.
Well. Well, if that demon wants me to fight, I refuse. I refuse.
You and finally, something else speaks to you in this place. You must.
Regardless of what you say, regardless of what you want, if this is what you want, I'd rather die.
You stand firm, plant your naginata, hold it firmly with both hands, loosen your grip so as to not even present yourself as a threat. When as you try to loosen your grip, your fingers don't move. Dying was never an option. You are mine.
So says the demon.
Aria, make one more corruption roll for me. Also, take 3 corruption for the last failure.
Alright. Ooh. If I fail, I'm most definitely going to fail this next one unless I manage to roll like...
Never believe in the God Emperor.
I don't know. I don't think so. I managed to roll...
A
Yeah.
grand total of 1 icon.
A grand total of 1 icon.
So, Michelle, Aria, you close your eyes again. The last time you closed your eyes, you opened them and you were in this hellscape. Maybe, God Emperor willing, you close them again and we'll open them back to the reality. See your friend. You open your eyes. You are in motion. Whirring, battling, dancing. Your naginata is a circle of perfect motion, creating a dome all around you as you swipe and swing, your hair flailing around you, your voice open in prayer, but not a single sound escaping it. As you slice and cut and slice and cut, even if every part of you needs it to stop, even if everything in you needs it to stop. You watch, almost out of control of your own body, as you cut down shades of your own making, as you fight a presence lodged deep within your own psyche. And whether or not you were able to overcome it is a matter only for he on the throne to decide. And us too. After a brief break, of course. Don't go anywhere. Okay. And we return to the middle of a tense combat as we zoom back into the spaceport while one of our members is a little, let's say, otherworldly distracted. We zoom back in first on the presence of one Lara Talone. Edelvara Talone, if you want to be proper, who just tried to manifest an intense psychic power to smite down the affronting headman Thok, but found the warp turbulent, so much so that even their enhanced psychic powers couldn't quite crack through the veil properly and manifest the power. When we zoom back in on that moment, Laura, not only are you feeling the warp is rankled, It is growing more and more intense, more turbulent, rapidly. And without trying too hard, you can feel what event, and more specifically, what person is probably the nexus of it. It's Aria. What do you think you do as an immediate reaction? What do you think you say? How do you feel? What are you thinking in this immediate moment?
There's probably a very intense rise in panic and concern. Probably even something that even Zadkill can pick up on in that mental link.
Hmm.
Like, it's just an unconscious thing that kind of slips through. And just to tap in here and see if, and check in on my own knowledge, what I have about Blackstone.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to be near Aria to utilize it and try to deal with this demon problem that has manifested?
So that's the tough thing. Under normal conditions, yes, 100%. Absolutely. Blackstone radiates a psychic aura around it when it's charged one way or another, meant to either repel away or directly attract the Imperium. That aura, that field, is directly proportionate to the amount of Blackstone proportionate in an area. Lore example, the planet Cadia had massive pylons of Blackstone all up and around it, which made it a linchpin capable of holding the Eye of Terra in together. So much so that when it broke, well, carpeting across the Imperium, that. This little bit of Blackstone probably can push out psychic power pretty strongly in its localized area. Something so powerful, so far away, it would need to be amplified somehow. You also would need to charge it. If the Blackstone were charged to repel warp energy already, you wouldn't be able to use your powers as strongly as you can right now. So you wager the Blackstone isn't charged to the right pole right now, if it's charged at all. So you charge it, and once you get it online, you either A, get back to Aria as fast as humanly or eldarily possible, or you need to find some way to boost the signal of the Blackstone, boost its radius, increase its output. The knowledge of how Blackstone will work and the kind of thing really any of your people have down to a science, especially not you, one who's not walking the path of learning how to shape it and use it. So it's really anybody's guess. You are, however, remembering that the Blackstone is sitting in something weird that you've not sure you've seen before.
I would probably need to inspect to gauge, actually.
Indeed. Which is bringing you to a lovely, helpful moment. As you are currently, because you got close, just actively dodging and having to weave back and forth between Thok's blows. He's kind of still fighting Zadkiel, but whenever they sort of create space or whenever you get too close, he kind of, back swings at you or turns a thrust in your direction. Zadkiel is clearly his main target, the person he's fighting. But he's clearly not afraid to gut you in half if you get too close or lose your guard too quick enough. He's having fun with this. So you wager, yeah, you probably need to get to that Blackstone and interface with it to figure out what you can do to begin with. Doing so means getting an opportunity to do so without having Thok cut your legs out from under you. Literally. How do you communicate that to your friend? Up to you.
And I can probably gauge at this point that I am really not going to be able to utilize my powers while this demon is running rampant and influencing.
It's going to be difficult. you've already had to push yourself beyond some of your inbuilt limiters. The warp is turbulent. Using your powers probably really isn't the issue right now. It's using them with control and finesse and not, further rankling the warp even more than it already is. Which, usually, you can do that flawlessly. You're a well trained psyker with centuries of experience. Right now, when the warp is already this turbulent, it's a coin flip. I mean, you don't like coin flips, do you, Lara? So then, with the fight still going on, is there anything you say mentally to your currently still dueling friend?
Going to tap in with Zadkill and try to make as short and direct as possible to try to keep him, try to make it as so it's less distracting. Get to the point, you know. Demon has taken control of Aria. Exercised its influence. Its influence has reached too far into the warp. I cannot use my powers without it creating a without being too much of a hazard.
Get yourself to safety. I will handle this. He clearly wants me. Move from this place.
Laura, how certain do you feel about that resignation from Zadkiel? His primary chainsword, his weapon, has been kicked across the floor, and he's standing here literally bringing a knife to a sword fight at the current moment. And not a fight he's winning.
Aria? No. Laura?
Yeah, sorry, Laura, let's say, yes.
At least have your weapon in your hands before you try to instill confidence.
The Emperor was generous. He gave me 2 weapons already. Now, if you cannot be of assistance with your psychic powers, you should make yourself scarce. Thok is not to be underestimated. And I'm about to create space that he might use to make you a target.
Well, speaking of which, Zadkiel, we're at the top of the round. Unless Lara wants to go first this round, tell me what you're doing.
Well, unless Lara would like to, I am going to use a combat action called Fall Back.
Makes sense.
So I'm using my movement to get all the way over to my chainsword and recovering it, diving out of the way, faking an ingress to try and draw a guard, and then just learning a bit from his little shadow play stuff, and instead just tumbling like a sack of metallic trash and rolling into move to a full sprint to grab his weapon and rev up again.
Absolutely. You step in, Fox swings at you reflexively as you kind of step in. You just roll to the side and hit your shoulder first and fully roll, tuck under you. He catch you in the backswing, and you kind of step back. It does graze across your chest, but cause you no real damage as it kind of chips paint off of your Aquila and damages some of your some of the yellow pristine of your armor. But you were able to kind of step back, backpedal a little bit, and then roll to your feet, just at the side of where your chainsword is, but you can scoop up off the ground and rev it back to life. You are officially rearmed. Thought it's going to turn again, slide its sword across the ground, and is going to sort of like, I have ruin. Sweet. Thought is going to spin his sword, slam his arm against his chest twice, and say a phrase that I'm sure to all of our 40k friends probably pretty common, and you probably would have thought this person would say already. Death to the false emperor. It'll activate his other ruin ability, Veteran of the Long War. It'll add this game's tier, which is tier 3, by the way, add extra damage dice to all attack he rolls. So, and with that, he will simply.
You're scared.
With that, don't be scared. He'll be fine. He'll charge at you, Zad, since you're still the fighter here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared for you.
He'll come in, he'll bring his sword high, and this time he kind of like brings it high, and then immediately as he gets close, sweeps back low and comes up from under you. Let's see how well that works out. I'm gonna assume that passes your defense with 10 icons.
Well, you'd be surprised. Yeah.
Would I?
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. Well, hey, look, on the bright side, this time, it's only 15 damage.
And still a 3 AP?
Still 3 AP, yes.
Okay. So that would be 7. I'm going to roll determination to see if I'm going to get to continue to be in this fight or not.
Here's hoping.
So I can take 3 out of that, but the thing is I only have 2 shock.
Going over shock does not take you out of combat. Going over shock, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering, I think gives you the either it's terrible, it's either terror or vulnerable. I'm gonna double check. I'll find that out though. Don't worry about it. It gives you some condition. I'm pretty sure being over shock. Yeah, don't stress it too much.
All right. So with 7 damage going through and technically 4 of it being eaten, I'm at 2 health.
All right. So you are exhausted. Let's see. You can only walk or crawl for 1 basic combat action, attack with no combat options such as aim or multi-attack, or fall back. Additionally, you may not roll determination. Any shock suffered by an exhausted character is immediately converted into mortal wounds.
Did you get your wound back?
I did. That's why I have 2 instead of 1.
So I imagine, Zachiel, you're ready. Thought comes up, and you bring your chainsword up high, preparing to meet him. The camera's up on your face as your chainsword is up and focused, and then sees your look falter a bit as it cuts down to Thought's power sword, embedded halfway through into the side of your rib. And you are bare face to teal blue helmet and red eye lens. And you can hear a sick wheezing laugh behind that. Thin-blooded coward. As he then hits you off of the sword and you stumble back, certainly feeling yourself losing a fair bit of blood at this point. In fact, you can literally feel your blood fizzling from the power sword basically went through you. Good news is the wound cauterized itself. because, power sword.
Have I seen any amount of blood in this combat?
Probably. I mean, he did crack your head open, so I imagine
Yeah.
some probably fell in your eye.
All right, yeah, I'm just gonna make a willpower test. Like, who even cares? Like, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna be frenzied.
Cool. So, as you begin to feel a crawling pang as a coppery scent fills the side of your gums, for a brief moment you think, oh no, I'm bleeding internally. And in fact, you probably are.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't that. This is the hunger in your soul. You feel your teeth ache, your skull whine. Everything lends on consuming the blood of this filthy traitor. There is nothing but anger. Even all the pain mutes itself. Bach just stands there, whirling his sword, left and right. Lara, what are you doing? The moment you see... So what you just saw was Zadkiel kind of faint, roll, run for his chainsword, grab it, Bach follow up with a charge, and just straight into his chest, and then pull out. So Zad just got ran through the not chest, like rib area with a sword, and while he still looked determined to fight, you've seen that blood haze wax over his vision a couple times now in combat. This is most certainly that again.
Fun fact about me, I don't have ribs, just rib. Just got the one. No even hang
True.
ribs. Anyway, yeah, no, he's not looking great.
Indeed. Lara, Zad looks hurt, like he probably needs some backup, but there's also the Blackstone to deal with and needing to get that taken care of. What's your call, darling? I'll be honest. I don't know what I'd do if I were you in this situation, so why don't you tell me? What's that? Your GM put you in a complicated, seemingly unwinnable situation, making you have to make difficult choices? No.
How could you do this to me?
Never do that.
Is this what you meant when you said you were gonna hurt me more?
No.
Oh no.
At least you got an appropriate thinking music going on. It's like Jeopardy theme song,
Mm-hmm.
But more intense because people are dying.
Our powers ain't gonna work.
Probably not. I mean,
Powers ain't
Again?
gonna work.
it's not that your powers don't work. They're just more risky right now.
Very risky. Well,
This fucking deal or no deal ass music, dog. It's just crazy. Sorry, I mean distract you. My bad.
you were fine. I'm just deciding between two different things. Three different things, technically, but
Well, would you want us to tap in with Aria while you figure it out?
sure. And I'm gonna float it to the group and see what.
Good call. Well, while the group gets things floated, let's cut back over to somewhere in the Imperium presence that is Aria's psyche. It has been days, or minutes, or seconds, or centuries. It's impossible to tell. But for a timeless time, for a seemingly endless period, you have stood here on this battlefield, arms never tiring as you swing and cut away at shadow things. At first, it felt unnatural, like you wanted to stop, needed to stop. Then, it became routine, mundane. Just keep killing until it stops happening, until they stop coming. Then, it became confusing, almost bored, detached, like it's just not enough. It doesn't really matter. Like they're just exactly what they seem like to you. Shades, flailing figures of shadow and nothingness. You cut through them, one after another. Each time, the chalky, off-pale substance that makes up the dirt beneath your feet kicks up ash with every step you take around it. You realize it is not dirt or dust, but a chalk of an endless wasteland of human bone you are striding upon. What is in your mind, Aria? What do you wish you could be doing right now? And what will you try to do?
Even if there's no use, I think Arya's mouth is still open, trying to sing. There's no use in trying to let go of her Naginata, and yet she still tries.
You hold on, swinging, cutting, trying to let go. Eventually, you start thinking perhaps if you can't stop killing these shade things, if they are reflections of your torment, of this presence inside of you, perhaps when the last one falls, it will finally be silent again. The quiet was a blissful rest after all. But you keep killing, cutting, hoping to pray, nothing leaving your throat as you screech empty prayer to an emperor that it seems cannot hear you. You cut and kill and make me a corruption test. Like how I segue that in there with the narration. You didn't see that shit coming, did you?
That's fair. Well, I feel like regardless of what I do, I'm gonna fail this corruption test. I
You
definitely don't.
never know. You have to believe.
Uh-huh. Well, on the positive, I did not roll a 1 on the Wrath die, so I got 2 icons. That's it.
Okay. Well, 2 icons is not going to do it for you, sadly. So I want you to gain 3 more corruption.
Well, that's contaminated now.
As it starts to hurt, Aria, not the swinging. Your arms are numb. You don't feel any pain from your limbs. The resisting. That part of you that holds back from the killing. That part of you that wants to keep this sanctified in the Emperor's name. It hurts. It burns. Like a dying man, parched and needing sustenance, with a meal in front of him. Like a drowning man, with the shore just beyond his reach. It burns. You are only just barely able to hold on to that last little fragment flame of your soul. You cut the shades down, one by another, slicing and slicing as they become shadow and dust all around you. Until there is only one left, standing and barely flickering, maybe a solid 20, 30 feet from you. Just one single shade left, standing there, haunting you. Quiet. The pain will not cease, not until they are all dead. What do you feel you want to do? And what do you know you must do?
I think Aria is just tired from all the fighting. She started out as a healer after all. Hospitale. The question is, if she slays this last shade, will that end it, or will it only be the beginning?
There's really only one way to know. Are you prepared to do it?
Tell me, can I call out to the shade? Does it is it still just a shade of something?
It's a shade of something. Doesn't look like it's resolved into anything at all.
Tell me. What are you?
You hear a voice whisper in a tongue too old for you to ever understand. Like ghostly whispers on the wind at the back of your eardrums. The words mean nothing and everything at the same time. Doesn't matter though. You know what this is. This is the thing you have been haunted by for so long. This is the feeling in the back of your brain. This is the urge. This is the need. This is the kill. And as you turn to round to the shade, try to speak, your voice comes out, finally hearing your own voice. But it is not the song-like whisper, the resonant hum that is your melodic voice. Instead, your voice comes out like a rumbled, growling dog. The shade does not respond. But as we cut back into reality, amidst a field of recently dead soldiers, with Aria standing there, Naginata armor and face covered in endless amounts of blood, her head turns and rounds, staring straight at the last living person on the field. Hey, Aria? Take it easy, girl. Let's get back over and check on our combat friend, shall we? Zadkiel, you are flustered, you are flummoxed, and you are frenzied. Thok is slowly stepping, pacing in a semicircle around you, blade occasionally scraping, cutting rents in the ground. You, even your non-psychic self, can taste the air around you, heavy and slick like oil. You have been around the Imperium long enough to know that the warp is angry. If Laura's words are true, it is not long before the demon has hold of the sister. And you, little Space Marine, appear to be near the end of your rope. What do you do?
Before I do this, I do want to give a chance because we were delaying Laura's
Yeah,
turn.
we were
Right,
delaying
I
my
forgot.
turn.
Due to
That's-
analysis
see,
paralysis.
Because I had an order going on, and I was like, okay, Aria back to Zad, but I got the Aria.
No, you're
So
good.
as you're sitting there pondering what to do, the camera slides past your face back over to Lara. See, I played that the whole time. That's how it's supposed to be the whole time. Go ahead, Lara. What do you think? What's your plan?
But I look, have it in my
Yeah,
head.
fuck it, I'll be right back.
Wait, what's the plan?
I have it, and there's so much. All right, now it's up in the air again.
I'm here. Tell me the plan again. Don't worry, or just say it so Stream can hear it.
It's up in
I'm
the
here. I
air
promise.
again.
Why?
Up in
Oh,
the
no,
air
well,
again.
why?
But no,
Figure it
I'm
out.
gonna go
I'll give you-
forward. I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna restrain the lad. I'm gonna crush him.
All right. Why don't you give us a nice, long, detailed description of how you are pushing past your own limiters to reel into the warp and try and attempt to crush this guy in the sense of it. In the sense of it, give us a nice, full, long narrative. Totally not the long time while I
I
go run
am
away for like a minute and a half. I promise.
I am not that good.
I believe in you.
I don't believe in me. I am not that good, guys. I promise you. But we are reaching down into the depths of the warp as energy. The energy doesn't really coalesce, but it almost seems like she is gathering that force into her hands again as it's almost balling it up in front of her, and she's squeezing the air in front of her and almost miming what she wants to do to Thok from the distance. That she's further away from Thok and Zadkiel. They bolted. They went off. They're somewhere at a distance now, but she's miming what she wants to do to crush, as if to crush Thok in her hands, and restrain him. Yeah, that's literally that. I told you this is what I got. So how we doing? How you doing, Michelle? How you feeling?
Well, this would be slightly just a little slightly problematic.
It's me. I'm back. Sorry for minor
No.
emergencies.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So, missing absolutely no stream. So we're back on Lara with the crush attempt. Yes.
Yes. I'm attempting to mimic crushing Thok in my hands.
All right. As
I've
you prepare your
made the
hands
rolls
and
for
scatter
you.
force between them. Perfect. What's that roll looking like?
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 6s on Wrath
13.
dice.
Ooh. That's more than
However,
enough icons you need to roll.
Also rolled a 1 on a Wrath die.
Ooh, I do love when that happens. So, let's resolve the power first. You absolutely pass defense, so this goes off. You are going to deal 10 plus 1 extra damage die. So go ahead and roll 1d6 for me real quick for extra damage die.
It was a 6. I realized I accidentally counted the 6 into the dice pools. 2 less.
Doesn't matter. You pass its defense by more than enough. You absolutely hit him and deal 10 plus 2 for 12 total damage. It's not mortal wounds, so his resilience would apply. So, yeah, no, he takes some damage. And since he's already wounded, I'm gonna go ahead and spend my last ruin to have him roll determination. I don't know if it's gonna help me a whole lot, but I'm gonna try.
That's what I've been saying this whole fight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 5 less than that. Okay, cool. So, Lara, you reach out, gather psychic energy in your hands, and compress it. The air that around you starts to feel heavy along with how thick it already feels. And you can feel force and pressure compress around you from every direction, almost whooshing past you and towards Thok. as it slams into him. You can feel it. You can see him kind of lock up some and try to like move. He's still moving. I'm pretty sure he has to like make a check of some kind to avoid being restrained. Yes.
I don't know. It just
Oh.
says might restrain.
So you want to look
I will double check now.
crush.
Yes. But in either case, since it goes back to that anyway, we'll figure it out in just a moment. But I will say what you see is like Sock's limbs start to look like they're moving through water as he begins to kind of slow down his movements. As he slows to a crawl, his head angles around towards you, Laura. You can hear him growl through his teeth. Faded witch, you're next. As he's not happy with having his little duel interrupted.
It's a DN5
That's
strength and
fine.
willpower test.
Cool.
That's fine.
I'll try the strength one.
I rolled the perils of the warp too.
Well, he failed the strength test, so he is in fact restrained. But I'm now going to go ahead and have that Perils of the Warp roll happen. So, dearest Meg, if you could please go ahead and roll me 2d6. Now, I want this known. Perils of the Warp kind of has a stacking mechanic. So every time you roll a 1 on the wrath die, it's going to add plus 10 to that result. So you already had plus 10 from the first one. It's going to go to a plus 20 on whatever you roll.
It was a 35, so that makes it a 55.
55 as I pull up the table for psychic powers. Let me get a sense of it again.
I
hold
suffer
on, I lost it, sorry.
1d3 plus 2 shock.
That's not great.
Yeah.
Oh, plus, how many wrath die did you roll?
I mean, wrath die 5.
You're going to take that much shock too, because you had to use an unbound power.
Yeah. I'm ouching.
So,
I'm taking
yeah,
I'm like
yeah, it's not going great for you, friend. But you're doing your best. That's what matters.
Oops.
1s3.
1s3. Okay, so I'm over my shock.
Hmm. Oh, actually, hang on. It's not just you, because 55 would be life drain. Every living creature within 25 meters immediately suffers 1d3 shock. So both shock will take shock as well. You'll take 1d3
I don't have any
for 3.
Wait,
In that case,
55? Wait, 55? That's just the Psyker backlash. It's not.
Yeah.
55.
Yeah.
55.
Oh, you're right. Vision possibility.
It's just me.
You're right. No, you're right. You are right. My fault.
See,
You're right.
it's contained to just myself.
That's fine. You're okay then. Laura, you feel yourself lance in pain from your from the shock of manifesting your manifesting your powers. The warp is again angry with you. You have to divert much of your effort to just pushing out the creeping presences of Neverborn you can feel rake against the corners of your mind and psyche, even as you barely open yourself. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Aria's one thing. You wager it might possibly even be too late for her already. You aren't sure. But at this rate, if you or her keep wrangling the warp, you might start getting visitors from a realm beyond our own. It's all bad. But you do have a
Make it
restrained thought alongside you right now.
I'm gonna make a note to Zed. Finish this quickly.
Yeah, and
Whether or not he processes this in his frenzied mind is a question, but
I think at this moment he sees an opponent slowed and less capable than previously, and he is going to strike. Though because of my condition, I am not capable of a lot of attacking, so I'll attack normally, but with a +1 strength. So,
Yep.
I have.
You go ahead and make that attack roll.
Do I still have the
Sorry, go ahead.
effects of the previous Peril of the Warp, where I had a difficulty die?
I'm pretty sure that lasted until the end of the round.
Okay.
I'm double checking right now. Da, 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 da. Yes, for 1 round.
Okay, cool. So I ran away. All right, cool. Chainsword Evangelos going in for a little strikey strike. And you know me, I do like to reroll some ones. So there's an extra 6 in there because we're
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to hit. Yeah. Well, that's less. Well,
All right.
6, 7.
That does hit.
With yeah. If I
That's
don't,
enough to hit.
it's gonna hit with 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then I'll
5 exactly is going to hit.
I'll shift the other.
But of a note, and this is relevant because it's going to matter for the next thing. Laura, because you took shock, I need you to roll a willpower test for me real quick.
Oh no.
It's going to be, by the way, at +4 because you are currently sustaining 2 powers.
Power +4?
Yeah, it's going to be willpower +4. And how much shock did you just take from your things?
8.
Yeah. Well, I'm wishing for 8 icons or more for you.
It's 3,
It's not 8, unfortunately.
which means the things fail.
Yeah. So, Kirk, you still definitely get your strike off. Go ahead and roll your damage at Zakiel.
Okay. That is going to be it's going to actually be 14 now because of the frenzy as a base damage. And with the frenzy die, that is going to just be 3 extra damage. Though I do have an extra as I'm shifting, which will be additional 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5 for 19 damage.
All right. 19 minus. Okay. I'm going to use my last ruin and go ahead and roll. Whoop. So, enough. That's all I needed. He survives. So that, go ahead and describe what strike you make on him. It doesn't kill him. You do wound him severely, though. Go ahead and describe the strike.
So as he kind of catches this moment where the foe is like momentarily impeded and his attention is turned towards Lara, it's that briefest of instances where he's going to kind of burst forward from this grievous wound, and like as that sword flicking is kind of at a point where he can leverage it out of the way, he uses his combat knife to push in at his vambrace and right at the wrist and just like knock it aside to really ram the blade. Though I imagine even with his catching it by surprise, it's not like a straight to the gut shot, more off of the oblique.
You cheer and feel yourself eat into ceramite and plating and cabling and artificial muscle and tissue and skin and bone, and you see blood flare out from the wound where your chainsword slides into the armor, screeching as it eats through it. Shock, for his part, grabs onto your arm and pushes you away as the crush finally separates from it. He feels himself regaining his normal movement. You step back, not stumble, but fully step back. Chainsword still at the ready. Shock clutches at his side, still holding his sword at a combat stance. However, he is now solely focused on you, Zad. And as he charges in and goes to kind of wordlessly tackle back at you, before I have him do anything, the camera will come back to Lara. With this moment, Doc is fully focused on Zadkiel. There is nothing distracting him, nothing in the way, nothing bothering you. What do you want to do?
Be making hard decisions again.
I should say, again, if your choices are, so I'll level your options for you, very, very, not even options, but I'll level the switching for you clearly. Thok, one track mind. That fight is close. How you look at it, you might not be a particularly potent bladesman, but you've studied the craft to know. If it's talking pound for pound, the better sword fighter, it's Thok, and it's not close. Zad, however, has an unfetteringly potent determination. There is something in Zadkiel's eyes, in his soul, that is not letting him lose this without kicking, screaming, and praying to the God Emperor on the way down. It's anybody's fight right now. But you wager the next good, solid blow landed is probably the end for whoever lands it. So, you could try to make sure that the one who lands that decisive blow is that if you really wanted to. However, you are running out of time. The warp is even more rankled than it should be. And if you were going to have any chance at stopping whatever is happening to Aria, if it's not already too late, that chance is now. Or it's never. So it seems like right now, it's kind of a choice. Zad or Aria.
You bitch.
I won't make you pick right now if you want to. It's fine. But I will let you. I'll make this one easy on you. Laura, can you roll for me a scholar check of some kind? Scholar, I believe it's a skill. We'll say it's Scholar Eldari. So see if you can get a sense of what's happening with the Blackstone pillar over here and what it's doing. I feel like I've been dark on that long enough.
What bonus would you give for Eldari? Because
I will give you 3 extra bonus dice. But I will say, this is information you are gaining based on what you see and what you know from history. It might not be perfectly accurate because, again, you don't work with Blackstone normally. It's not your line of work.
Don't forget, we've got dice in the glory pool if you would like to spend some to add more dice to your roll.
It's true.
got a good roll.
What you got for me, baby?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
More than enough.
On the glory die. The wrath die.
So, Laura, if you don't mind me trying to tell me if this strikes joy. I'm gonna see the narrative for a brief moment. Tell me if it's not the right thing. You looking back and forth. The Blackstone, Aria. The duel, Zad. Aria, Zad. Aria, Zad. And you wager, outside of just, you are a potent fighter, no question. This is a duel between 2 blood cousins who have a grudge to settle. There are a lot of reasons why you getting into the melee here probably isn't going to be the thing that turns the tide. And while your psychic might is potent and could absolutely contribute to the fight like it already has, that risks wrangling the warp even more than it already is. And you don't know how much more that thin veil can take. So, you look at the pylon. You move over to it. The thing holding that small diamond-shaped blackstone crystal in the middle is a plinth. Most of it is made of a soft, off-black gray metal, almost kind of like the blackstone itself, but not as fully opaque. Weaving around it, though, arcing in circles and spiraling around it, is a much more common Eldari material. You would know it as wraithbone. It makes up a lot of your vehicle structures and things like that, even your ships. Anything your weaponry. This is clearly a field of some kind. And in fact, you wager the wraithbone is meant to channel the Imperium either one way or another. This device here is meant to charge the Blackstone. Now again, the issue is the radius isn't that high. That's not a lot. This isn't some huge piece of Blackstone. But that's when you notice, and you're not sure, but you notice there's an inset in the plinth. Something that can probably either give it more power or charge it. And it's shaped exactly like an Eldari soulstone. Putting all the break again just to fuck you guys over. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes, okay? Good luck.
What?
We jump back in. The tension and decision-making. Zadkiel, last legs and frenzied over in the red thirst, faces off against an injured but determined headsman Thok. The next blow will surely be decisive. Aria, meanwhile, battles with an inner force, a demonic presence consuming her and driving her on to slaughter and kill, just as she rounds on the last living person left on the battlefield, her dear comrade Barris. All this happens while one Lara Talon waits and watches, deciding on what could possibly happen. Just as she turns and sees a black stone pillar encased in a device with a single small inset for an opalescent stone. What do you do?
Yeah. Finds herself taking a second to stare at this pillar and the indent and goes to the pocket that's in her chest piece and takes out the stone that she had only just gotten moments ago from an unfortunate circumstance. Or
Putting it lightly.
putting it lightly. A tragic circumstance. Holds this glowing stone in the palm of her hand and pulls it, closes her, clasps it tightly, and brings it to her lips. And in Eldari whispers, "I'm so sorry." And places the stone in the indent and goes about charging the black stone.
You place the stone in the inset. It's opalescent and orange. It begins to glow a light blue the moment you place it down. The wraithbone hums a light, low, resonant tone, so low that only your enhanced Eldari ear can really pick it up. And at first, it simply resonates. You can connect with it enough psychically to innately know how to control this basic device. It's a simple polarity switch. This wraithbone is used to charge the blackstone, either positively, to attract and pull the warp in closer to it and enhance its power, or negatively, to repel and push away the Imperium. I'm assuming I know which way you choose to charge it in this moment.
Yep.
You engage the device. The wraithbone's hum ups, becomes more resonant, picks to a base at the back of your brain. And the black stone begins to push. The rankling warp all about your psychic presence begins to dim, dull, literally pushed back. And it's painful. It hurts. You are connected innately in your soul and your very essence by the nature of the thing that created you to the warp. You are inherently psychic. This is like having something pull your soul out from your skin and place it behind you. It hurts, is unnatural, and is uncomfortable. But it is not enough. You can feel the edges of the field already. You can feel how far it goes. The stone is radiant and powering it. You need to push it further. Running to Aria isn't a choice at this point. You could gather up the cart, the plinth, and sprint for it. But even at your speed, you wouldn't make it in time. If you want to make the range capable of reaching her, you have to push it further.
What do I have to do to pour into it to expand that range?
Wraithbone technology operates off of psychic eminence. All you have to do is push it to go further, and it will go further. The only thing it needs is enough power, enough psychic energy to pull from it. There's already a source that it can pull from, plugged into it. That's how most Wraithbone tech works. You wager, if it completely empties out that vessel, it might just be enough. The cost, however, is another matter. Before this happens, though, Lara, before you make any choices, let's go over to Zadkiel. You two, you and Thok, have been locked in this sort of slow predator's dance. Not meeting blades, but you, in your mind, run through thousands of scenarios. Left crosscut into parry into right slash. That would kill him. Left cross into open center step into right. No, he'd see that coming. Take my head off before I could move there. Right step into. No. 1,000 scenarios live and die in your head, and you're certain, most likely, Thok is doing the same. As you two fight and dance and die 1,000 times over and over in your brains. You're distracted. Your eyes caught, just briefly, on Lara sprinting for that cargo container, holding that strange black gem in the middle of it on that plinth. I imagine you know very little of how Eldari technology or culture or physiology or spirituality or any of that work. You did, however, see the Corsair disappear into dust, leaving only his armor in the stone which Lara just placed on that plinth. What do you think you're thinking right now, Zad? What's on your brain watching all of this happen?
I hope whatever plan she has succeeds. The fate of this planet may very well rely on it. In that moment, he has absolute trust in a Xenos. Because that
For
is
perhaps
all...
the first time in your life.
Yeah, well, you know, unconfirmed reports aside, Lamenter's chapter does not have an extensive connection with Xeno campaigns, but I think at this point, he's lived long enough to have heard reports and enough side chatter to know that Eldari are Xenos and therefore cannot fully be trusted, but they are the closest Xeno we might have to allies in this war on chaos. You know? Like...
The enemy of my enemy, after all, yes?
Exactly. And that peace can be achieved, and through all of this, he knows he's been putting on this very strong front for the Inquisition to prove that while his brothers are on a penitent crusade, he too can shine and impress and hopefully slice even a few years off of the duration of this so that his chapter can be rebuilt. Because right now they're all dying out in space without the ability to actually recruit new members. So, but yeah, he puts himself he puts the fate of this planet and whatever decision that Lara is completely in hers, and he empties any potential concerns for Eldari technology and what is happening, and he might recognize the look of a soul stone, but not truly its nature and intent. So he thinks on his chapter, on his teachings, on the fight he is currently in against Thok, and how he needs to win, or at the very least kill Thok, because for those we cherish, we die in glory.
It says on the tin. You stand there in contemplation, sizing up the fight, your chapter, your brothers, your charge, and the Xeno to whom we trusted the fate of perhaps an entire planet. You may not know just exactly the functions of a soul stone, or their importance to the Eldari, but you absolutely saw a few things. The way that body disappeared and left only that stone behind. The way Lara clutched it close, like it was important, like it was all that's left of someone who once meant everything to her. And the way she places it in that plinth, a look on her face, like it might be the last time she ever holds it. And with that, Lara, what are you doing?
We are emptying the reserve. We are pushing this plinth as far as we can.
You push as hard as you can, pressing psychic energy out. It feels wrong and uncomfortable, the way you have to grind against your own resistance, the way the Blackstone's field literally pushes against your psychic presence, against your soul itself. You press and press, the stone giving and giving, glowing brighter and brighter and brighter to the point that it nearly blinds you in its off-azure radiance. You cannot speak to a soul stone. Only the greatest of farseers can. You can, however, feel ghost presences, feelings, emotions carried through the Infinity Circuit. You feel a single, glancing ghost of a wind, an off-warm summer breeze carried to the soft corners of the back of your brain. And though there are no words, the message and the sender are both very clear. It's okay.
Still
No.
that feeling of guilt.
Tell me more about this guilt. Tell me more about these feelings rankling through your brain as you're pressing the soul further and further. The stone glowing brighter and brighter. The field growing stronger and stronger. What moves through your brain in this moment, Lara?
She knows by expending this stone and thus destroying it, she is damning one that she cares about. Essentially sending this soul to be devoured for the rest of eternity. That is something that her and her people have strived for so long to avoid. Taken steps, they've taken measures to avoid it. And she had made a promise that she would keep him close. Here we are. Not even maybe 10 minutes later. Breaking it.
And for what? Why then shatter a promise to the one person who's walked with you for so many years? Why let go of a thing you promised just only moments ago to hold so dear? Why?
Can't exactly let a demon run rampant.
Suppose we can't, huh? You aren't sure if the last push should be explosive, thrumming, if psychic pulses and energies will rip through you. You do not know if you will lose consciousness. You do not know if you will be killed, perhaps, by the oncoming rush of anti-warp energy. You only know that you have to give one last push. And it might just be enough. It has to be enough. One last push is all you and all Valir have. Are you making that last push, Lara?
With determination.
You push, eyes closed, soul focused, resolve hardened, and the world goes quiet for a brief microsecond. Meanwhile, I am weak. He is strong. So he is strength. In him, I am strong. Aria Yun Contour, those were the first words said to you when you entered the Scala Progenium. And you were ripped away from an insignificant life as one more cog in the trillions of human lives given away by the Imperium. When you began to be forged into his weapon, into his shield. I am weak. He is strength. In him, I am strong. There is something, Aria, behind that last shade. Behind that last thing you are still desperate to silence. There's something. A single, brilliant pinprick of light. Every time you try to move a muscle, you step closer to that shade. That light is still there. Too far to feel its warmth. Just barely close enough to see its light. What are you thinking? What do you do?
I think Arya sort of fixates on that point of light behind the last shade. And if you don't, if it feels like this seems in theme, I think Arya is sort of dragging her Naginata behind her, like just this slow, exhausted step.
Absolutely, as you say.
Her Chirurgeon's tools are strapped across her chest, long forgotten, as she steps slowly towards that light. Almost like she can't look away. Like she can just focus on that. That's the only thing that exists. Then I can take another step.
I am imperfect. He is perfect. In him, I am perfected. You remember this? A soul truth lodged in the corner of your being. A warmth. But the Emperor's light is so distant, so far, and you are so cold, so corrupted. You are damned, or to be cast out, forgotten. His light left you, left to swallow in the endless morass that is the Primordial Annihilator. But that light is still there, so far, so far. You aren't sure you can reach it. The Emperor is not the light you need right now. What do you do?
Emperor's light is not what I need. If it is out of reach, then that's fine. Because I'm not alone.
I am unfinished. He is finality. In him, I am completed. That truth, that light, so distant, so core to you, Without it, what is left but an endless morass of blackness? A place without light, a place without purpose. You, Aria Yun Contour, are a thing of war. Without purpose, you are merely blind destruction. A purpose you cannot find in the Emperor, but a purpose you find in the hands you hold in dying moments, in the wounds you close with the medic's care, in the comrades you give solace to when they falter. Light comes from Barris and his trust and faith in you, in your protection of him in dire moments. Light comes from Lara, who galaxies away and cultures and eons distant still found connection, still gave everything for you. As you reach and cluster and hope that last little bit of light you have left, make me one last resist corruption roll. Do this one with 4 extra dice, please.
Alright, and that's not a modifier, it's a dice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that goes. Dice don't fail me now. Did I do that right?
You did roll 96 properly. No, no, you're fine. You're good there. Although I don't think I rolled all of them.
Yeah, it only rolled 4?
It only rolled 4 dice. So just
Yeah.
if you go to the side of the screen, click
Just roll me 5 more d6 real quick.
or /R 5d6.
Roll 5
Oh, that works.
That's 1,
another-
2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5 on top of my 2, so that's 7. 7, 8.
No, one of those
Forgot
is yeah, 8. Whew. So even with your +2 to the difficulty because of your level of corruption, you still get enough to pass. As that last bit of light grows and expands, and you realize that light is the quiet moment in the back of the Goliath rock truck when you first landed on this planet, sitting with Zadkiel and singing bright hymnals. You recall a comment he made, watching someone take their first steps towards sainthood. A heady honor, one you were undeserving of, perhaps. But as that light grows and swells and fills you like grace, as you finally open your fingers, unknot the muscles in your hand, and drop the naginata like a heavy iron weight to the ground. Fall quickly by yourself to your knees as all strength begins to rapidly leave your body. The world around you goes quiet and dark again. And that cackling canine voice in the back of your brain, angrily. This is not over. Or it fades, and the world materializes again. Then you see in front of you, a terrified looking Barris. You're not going to strangle me, right?
You might have to catch me, and I think Arya's just gonna collapse.
Barris comes up to you and tries to catch you, but you are a fully armored Scepter of Battle right now, and thus you both collapse to the ground in a bit of a heat. Thankfully, as Barris tries to keep his eye up and look for any more sniper fire, any soldier who would be shooting at you is a bloody mess on the ground somewhere around you. And the bolt rifle fire in the distance has gone quiet like the wind. Whatever it was Sorkesh was here to test you for, it would appear he got it already. Meanwhile, we cut ourselves back over to the hangar. Zadkiel, you feel pressure wash over you, almost like a clean slate like a towel, wiping the inkiness out of the air all around you, rapidly. Doc clearly feels it too. He steps just slightly forward. A bit. The world goes eerily quiet for a half second. Doc stands, unmoving, muscles tensed. You stand prepared, waiting for a strike that will either end this fight in your favor or kill you. You faintly hear a click of the Vox going live for a moment, and then go quiet again. As you wish, Master. And Doc steps backwards once, twice, a third time. Until I see you again, Thin Blood.
Charging him right now.
You charge at him as he steps into a corner of Shadow. You swing and hit Shadow.
I'm gonna work out some emotions on the infrastructure real quick.
We're hitting the Kylo Ren tactic. Got it.
Just like tearing through the cheap steel, sheet metal here, and punching in just any essence of this place that he might have like slinked off into. I'm just going, and I'll. Fuck. I'm gonna make another willpower. Oh yeah, no, I'm still going at it.
Zadkiel tears, screaming, into the side wall of the corner of the
Just
space
keep
port.
rolling.
I got my 3 on the
A
third
while.
go. It goes for effectively 3 rounds, basically.
Right. So about roughly 45 more seconds of Zadkiel angrily screeching at the side of the wall while he hits it with a chain sword. Someone's gonna be really mad about repairing that, but before we get there, Laura. The universe is quiet. The warp slowly unknots itself, becomes a slow, quiet eddy, a shifting sea you can only barely perceive without actively focusing on it, as it almost always is. You still don't know what's happening over there. You aren't quite sure. Think you might just have done it. That, or Aria's dead. One of the two. But in the moment, there is no one else here. The quiet of the hangar. That Gale, in his rage, slowly cooling down. And yourself, left to whatever enigmatic emotions your Eldari mind may be perhaps feeling in this moment. As opposed to asking you about those, how about I just leave you two in the space, with a moment to talk, discuss, and figure out where things are.
It is done then. Laura. It is.
Demons gone. What has become of Aria, I cannot say.
And we both yet live. This day brings many advantages. He's busy stowing his weapons and holding hands over wounds just to ensure they're properly clotting and closing already.
It's taken a while. The wound was deep, but your Tardy's physiology is kicking in. It might take at least a good time of rest to let your Susan membrane kick in, put you in medical state for a while. The equivalent of sleeping for you, effectively. But you'll heal. Probably.
I doubt I would have survived without your intervention, even in the minor ways.
wasn't more help.
There was little you could do. His attention was driven at me, and I feared that if he did strike at you, it would be fatal. Be glad he clearly had his fill of Eldari blood. Though I do express sympathy for your fallen comrades. Losing numbers of one's own is always a difficult time.
Yeah. Have much of a response to that, although she does look back to the
Well, she has a hard time formulating a response to that. She doesn't know how to. Although she does look back to the plinth and works to remove the now faded goldstone from the indent of runs it between her fingers.
I take it by the weight with which you look that you were close with the one that you placed in that stone.
Say that we spent a lifetime together, although that was quite some time ago. So, different paths took us apart.
And forced you together at Blade Point. Eldari society shall perhaps forever remain a mystery to me, but even those who cross blades can find themselves strong together. Clearly this was the case with you in this one. Motions to the empty space where you said your buddy's body used to be. Do you need time to mourn? I do not know Eldari funeral ritual.
I made my peace. Said goodbye.
Should you request it, I will pray for your comrades. I am not sure what protection the Emperor may offer in the warp against she who hungers. But perhaps it may be some respite. That she thirsts.
Yeah. We go reunite with our comrades. Sure that they've made it.
Are you trying to like move forward physically at that point? Because Zad has like approached you. He's worked his way out of the anger corner.
I think she's still kind of standing by the Blackstone.
So you're gonna hear what is effectively a giant walker metallic clanking coming up behind you. This is by no means a surprising action with the amount of loose servo and grinding metal from all of the plating that's been ripped and chunked. But you are going to feel a giant fucking gauntlet rest on your shoulder very lightly. It is no shame to mourn fallen companions. I know this more than others, perhaps, of my kind. Many I know continue to forever cry tears for the fallen. But it is not weakness. It is the strength of your bond. You've confirmed that Aria is safe. I am certain in both her and Barris's skills. Take what time you need. I will stand vigil.
Anything more from you?
I'm good to kind of settle on that.
I think the last place we'll settle then. As I imagine we have a nice moment while you two are chatting where the camera kind of montages over a couple of like idyllic scenes, you know, some people relaxing on K-2, some mine workers sharing a drink and relaxing after a long shift, a young couple newly declared holding hands and looking up into the sky at the off dirty moonlight. Arya and Varys collapse together, likely both unconscious at this point from all the stress of the exhaustion, just asleep in a pile right now.
That armor
And then
cannot
that's the
be
two of you.
comfortable.
Listen, when you're tired enough, I've slept in full clothes before it happens. Regardless, we cut back to you two as Zachiel goes to take watch and wait. Lara, you settle in, holding for a moment of comfort. A soft, cold, industrial, stale wind passes through the hangar. It isn't really any comfort to anyone. All use the recycled air. But as it passes, you would swear you feel a gust or two press against the side of your shoulders and push into you. Like a soft final embrace. Like a goodbye. While the scene slowly fades itself in silence. Elsewhere, figure stands. Black metal all around them. Green lighting flaring. Footsteps clanking hard as they move and work a staff in either hand. They have an orb close held as they watch the scene play out in front of them. Drama gives way to tragedy. Tragedy to sacrifice. Sacrifice to opportunity. A tale unwinds. And as the players give their all, so too do those behind the curtain. I believe this story moves into its final act. Mayhap those who play within it will finally know their place. Ave Imperator, Gloria in excelsis terra. Thank you all for coming to an episode of By Shadow Peace. I'm Foxy. I've got a cast who are really incredible and who I've been super mean to tonight. So I'll let them be mean back at me by taking as long as they want to say their goodbyes. So friends, in the order that I call you out, please tell us who you are, who you played, what you had going on tonight, and if you want to throw a few curse words in my direction, just while we have the time to live on air, go ahead and get fine. We'll start with the person out the music tonight. Meg.
I'm the one who suffered the most. That's
And you did
arguable. Hi, I'm Meg, and/or Meg Mysteria. I played Lara Talon, otherwise known as Edovara Talone. That's her true name, because she is Eldari scum. Not really scum, she's just Eldari. But where you can find me coming up is on... where am I? Where am I? I'm coming up this weekend on Sunday on Singularity Roleplay for our City of Mist campaign, Breaking Neon, where I get to play someone else who's also having a bad time. She just got reunited with her trans daughter, who's having a really bad time.
Oh shit. Yeah, catch up on that campaign. Holy fuck.
Yeah, who's having a really bad time. She's daughter's trying to kill people, and mom isn't so happy about that. After that, who do I have coming up next? After that is Alien. Yeah, our Heart of Darkness game. I get to torture more people as the GM, and I'm not gonna take my sadness out on them.
I'm sorry to make alien players in advance.
I said I'm not gonna take my sadness out on them.
Yeah, but you're lying.
I'm not lying. Once I get Foxy in a game, I'll do it then.
Shit.
That's how this works. We go back and forth. It's how it works.
It's a strange relationship we have, but you know what? I'm here for it.
And then after that, we come right back around to our next episode of By His Shadowed Peace. And then at the beginning of the month, we'll have Gay Camp, where it's not a hate crime if everyone is queer.
As we've established, queer on queer violence is perfectly permissible anywhere. Please don't clip that, by the way.
We've already got a clip. We have it already. It's cool. We got it.
Here in the Honest Roleplay endorse queer on queer violence. I'm gonna can't believe
It's okay. It's okay. Gay Camp is not on NLR. It's on Singularity. So if you're gonna cancel anybody, you should be canceling me.
I'm bringing us both down. We're all coming down together.
That's it for me. If you want to find me anywhere on social media, actually, you can find me on Twitch, on Twitter, on Itch, on Blue Sky as well. That's the gist of it. That's it. Oh, don't forget, Tears of Divinity, Fading Chronicle. That's also coming up at the end of this month, the 30th.
Yeah, a recording of our opener, kind of our session 0.1 sort of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, our opener is being broadcasted on the 30th. Yeah,
check it out.
you'll get to see that. It'll be real cool.
It'll be sick.
It'll be awesome, but that's me. We're done. Go talk to somebody else.
To answer your question, Michelle, it would have been a pun if we were still on Spar, but we're off that fucking frozen hellhole and we're doing space stuff now. But before we get to plugging that more, let's go throw it over to Michelle more. Hi.
Hey, I'm Michelle. You cannot find me on social media because I don't social media. But yeah.
Your fervent faith in the Emperor keeps you from engaging in Twitter.
AKA that Tweety, what is it? The Tweety Bird social media? I don't know. I don't social media. I don't.
The rotting corpse of a once great internet behemoth.
Is it a zombie right now? A revenant? Is it just, you know what? I'm not gonna have this. I'm not gonna ask this question because I'm not on social media. But yeah, I played Aria Yun, our sister Hospitale, sister of battle. And I guess you can find me next here for The World Within You, our paint splattered. There is a whole phrase for this that's like super awesome, but all you need to know.
Base boosted spray paint splattered.
There we go.
There it is.
That's what it is. Voidheart Symphony campaign run by the most legendary of vermin. Where I play an actual cat, so you know you can see being the most pure version of me as a cat.
It's true, actually.
Passing it on.
Well, Michelle, pleasure to have you here. Sorry I almost turned you into a demon today. Good job at not doing that. But alas, we pass it on over. Even though it's past midnight, every day is still Turk Day. How you doing, babe?
Excuse you, it's 11:53. I have 7 minutes to glamp this whole outro while demanding
You don't know how to fuck it. Yeah, you're take all the time you need, baby. It's still your day.
Oh no. Thank you. First off, I know you're like, oh, be mean to me in the outros, but truly, this was as usual an incredible session. So thank you, Foxy. You give the best trauma. And what a gift to get to do an entire session of just one sword fight in as much detail as we could. It was fantastic. That being said, as I pull up my calendar, I am Turk or Turk accented should you search for me amongst the various leviathans of the space we call the internet. And if you like my face, the words I say, and other various features about me that you might enjoy on streams, I appear in a lot of things, including coming up this Saturday, midday. I'm going to be in a Fallout one-shot over on Lost Caravan. I'm going to be playing a ghoul. So, you know, if you want to hear me talk in a more gravelly voice, I'm going to have to clearly go to another metal concert or something beforehand, because that got my voice real rough and gravelly from before. Beyond that, I'm running, also on Lost Caravan, I'm running probably the last for a while session of Caravan of Cthulhu on the 23rd. My players have voted, and everyone has unanimously agreed that they're going to take probably the toughest scenario I think I've looked at just from a scanning thing. It literally says your players will probably die in this thing, and that normally isn't on the tin. So if you know Call of Cthulhu, you know this means it's going to be extra nasty. I'm also a player on Nova there every other Wednesday, opposite this campaign. And then Delta Green. We won't have Delta Green this Thursday over on Lost Caravan, but next Thursday and every other Thursday going forward. Until the end of Season 3, probably a brief break, and then Season 4, as we go through Impossible Landscapes, which has been great thus far. Big backlog of episodes to watch with a lot of incredible people there. Also, I'm somewhere in the background. Anyway, another quick shout out, on the 29th we'll be doing a recording of Oathsworn, so if you really like the way if you think you'd be interested in seeing me GM games, on the 29th and 30th I'll back-to-back streams and recordings of myself watching myself GM, so yeah, I'll see y'all in chat as I get to bask in the awesomeness of my players 2 nights in a row. But yeah, a lot of incredible stuff. Best way to stay up to date is, of course, following this channel here, Neon Lights Roleplay. Jump in our Discord, come hang out. And, of course, following on social media the people you see in your stream, because I'm lucky enough to share a bunch of tables with all these fine folk. Don't follow Michelle on social media. If you find Michelle on social media, that is, I'm an imposter. And probably the start of a, what is that, Gene Stealer cult. Anyway, I'm gonna toss it over to Philly's Finest, because, who better to close out this night?
Dogs, that's me. Hi guys, I'm Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your favorite Fox Philly's Finest. I'm all over the internet at YUNG_FOXXII. Sometimes there's an underscore, so if you can't find one, look for the other. I played everyone that's not these lovely people over here, including any strange, fucked up Catholic Marine champion swordsman guys and weird demons. It was kind of fun. If you want to see more of me doing weird things and making my players hate me briefly on stream, then you can catch me in a couple of things. Most notably, my mecha magnum opus, Stardust Ghost. It's a story about fighting fascism, finding love, and discovering the line between life and death. I came up with that tagline on the spot just now. I should write it down because that sounds really good. It features a lot of cool people, including Michelle over there, who's really fucking great. And it has a lot of use of lesbians who are incredibly awesome, and I want to see more of them. It's coming to its conclusion soon, airing its Arc 3, so please be prepared for that. Alongside that, you'll catch me on a couple of things, namely, as mentioned, Tears of Divinity Fading Chronicle, a lovely award-nominated Lancer series played by myself, and with also Make the Theory and some other people there, run by the incomparable Turk himself right there. And some other great things that are coming along. including some stuff that I can't talk about just yet, but that's not important right now. Much more importantly, to wrap up the thing, if you want to come see what we're doing next and keep track of this cool place we hang out and call home, you can go check out Neon Life Roleplay on our social media. The link's right there in Discord chat, or right there on the Twitch chat. If you want to hang out with us more, talk about stuff that we do, meet some like-minded people, and play some cool games with us, you can hang out in the Discord. A link is in chat right there for you as well. We'd love to have you and play games with you sometime soon. Elsewise, we'll catch you in the future. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We have been Neon Lights Roleplay. This has been By a Shadow Peace, and you have all been incredible. Good night, y'all.